What's up, it's your boy Phone with another reaction. In today's video, we have top 10 highest WWE peaks by Paulina. Pretty sure that's how you say your name. Let's get into it. It should be a good video.
Today, we're going to look at the top 10 highest WWE peaks, starting with number 10, Randy Orton. In 2009, Randy Orton shaved his
Yeah, you gotta have it in the 2009 Randy Orton when that nigga was a fucking menace. I'm value boosting.
head, completely lost his mind, and put together one of the highest peaks in wrestling history. The Viper was the most dangerous heel in the entire company, and it wasn't even close.
Yep.
He won the Royal Rumble.
Actually, the greatest heel ever. I'll say he the greatest heel ever.
Captured the WWE Championship 3 times and had Legacy looking like the most untouchable faction on the roster. Then he got into a feud with Triple H and the McMahon family, and that is when things truly got unhinged. This man punted Vince McMahon in the skull just to avoid getting fired. Then he kissed Stephanie McMahon right in front of Triple H. Like, the disrespect was just on a different level. And once he wrapped that feud up, he rolled straight into beef with John Cena and didn't miss a beat. People still talk about 09 bald-headed Randy Orton because he terrorized some of our favorite wrestlers when we were kids. I really think this might be the greatest heel character of the 21st century. Number 9, Kurt Angle. You can't make a list of the highest wrestling peaks without mentioning Peak Angle, and I mean that literally, because this version of Kurt from around 2006 through 2011 might be the most intense wrestler we've ever seen. Whether it was WWE or TNA, this man was a beast. Kurt Angle,
Yeah, Perk Angle.
Wrestling through so much pain during this era that he was basically running on painkillers, and somehow that made him even better because he was throwing himself around like an absolute maniac, hitting suplexes that had no business looking that clean, and bringing this raw intensity every single time he stepped foot in that.
He won a gold medal with a broken neck.
Ring. When he went to TNA, he turned it up even more. Like, the man had no off switch. He was having battles on free TV on a weekly basis like it was nothing. Peak Angle was giving you match of the night every week that his music hits. And the craziest part is, no matter how beat up his body was, the work rate never dropped. If anything, it got better, which is
what the fuck? He Morgan right here.
Insane. This stretch of Kurt Angle is one of the most impressive runs any wrestler has ever had, and I don't think we'll ever see anyone wrestle with that kind of...
This real emotion, by the way, y'all. This yelling, this real emotion. This just perk emotion.
Reckless intensity again. Number 8, CM Punk. CM Punk's pipe bomb single-handed...
What year of CM Punk? 2013? 2012? Like, what year?
Changed the course of his entire career. After he sat on that stage and cut that promo, he legitimately brought back a whole generation of WWE fans who were completely sick of the product, and this was their guy. He was their hero, he was their voice, and they were the voiceless. That one moment sparked a generational run where Punk kept dropping pipe bombs and became the most must-see thing on television for months. The summer of Punk was genuinely special. He beat John Cena clean and walked out of the company with the WWE Championship. And when he came back, he got into this intense feud with Triple H that people were absolutely locked in on. Now, the peak did dip a little bit when Hunter refused to put him over. That was frustrating, but it picked right back up when Punk won the WWE title and held that belt for 434 days straight. And
God damn.
Here's the thing that really tells you how high his peak...
Oh my gosh, Wolverine CM Punk
was, because after he left, the fans chanted his name, begging for a return for nearly a decade. There aren't too many people in wrestling history who made that kind of impact where the crowd just refuses to let you go for that long. That is a different level of connection with the audience. Number 7, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's second run with the WWE.
I don't like Brock Lesnar, my nigga. Brock Lesnar boring. He just a big buff nigga that squash everybody.
Was a massive success from start to finish. This man was dominant the entire time, just destroying anybody they put in front of him. But if we're talking about his absolute highest peak,
that's all he do.
we need to focus on 2014 because that year was insane. This was the year that Brock Lesnar walked into WrestleMania and did what nobody could do for 21 straight years. He ended the Undertaker streak, making him 21-1. The entire arena went silent. People in the crowd looked like they just witnessed a murder. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, he walked into SummerSlam a few months later and absolutely squashed Super Cena. We're not talking about regular
Predator out of wrestling.
Cena. We're talking about Super Cena, the guy that would kick out of everything and always found a way to win. Brock made him look like he didn't even belong in that ring with him. The fact that this man ended the streak.
We all know why Vince McMahon was booking this nigga Brock like this, because they were the SA Bros.
Squashed Super Cena, killed Super Cena, and became the WWE Champion all within a matter of months is actually wild. The WWE strapped Lesnar to a rocket, and they sent him straight to the moon, and the craziest part is, those victories set the tone for the next 9 years. The momentum kept Brock as the most dominant force in the company for nearly a decade, winning more gold and beating more legends along the way. 2014 Brock was truly unstoppable. Number 6, Roman Reigns. Speaking of unstoppable, we gotta talk about the Tribal Chief.
Yep.
Because ever since Roman Reigns turned heel in 2020, he dominated WWE in a way that we had not seen in a very long time.
I wasn't even watching WWE back then, so I never watched this shit, but I know he carried the company.
Within a week of that heel turn, he won the Universal Championship and then held that title for the next 1,316 days. Let that sink in. Over 3.5 years as champion, the Bloodline became the biggest thing in all of wrestling during that 4-year stretch, and it wasn't even a debate. You could even say that they're the best faction of all time. Roman's peak was so
Hell nah.
massive that it legitimately revived the entire industry. The WWE started landing billion-dollar media deals, and that does not happen without Roman and the Bloodline making wrestling must-see TV again. They made the product so hot that
This nigga was like Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, you know how they saved the NBA? This nigga saved WWE.
Were throwing money at WWE just to have it on their platform, and that's exactly why Roman stayed on top for so long, for as long as he did. Nobody was touching him, nobody was on his level, and it wasn't even close. The Tribal Chief is going to be remembered forever for what he did during that run, and honestly, I think Roman could have easily been number 1 on this list if he never went part-time, because the momentum was right there, but I guess all peaks
nigga carried the company for 3 years.
Come to an end eventually, and Roman just wanted to spend more time with his family, and you can't blame the man for that. Number 5, Jeff Hardy. Did you know that Jeff Hardy was more popular than Barack Obama in 2008? You know you've got motion when you're being compared to the President of the United States. Jeff Hardy became a superstar that nobody could ignore. He was even bigger than John Cena around this time, and that was the guy, the face of the company that WWE poured millions of dollars into building up. But the crazy thing is, they didn't need to spend that kind of money on Jeff because he just naturally got over with his daredevil-like wrestling personality and the connection he had with the crowd. I'm convinced that every kid in school had his action figure and was throwing it off the bookshelves, hitting the Swanton Bomb on everything in sight. Hardy got so massive that WWE literally had to give him the championship even though the officials were pushing against it. That is how
they ain't like the nigga.
Over this man was. The fans were not taking no for an answer. But sadly, his peak came crashing down when he caught another suspension. His demons came back and
fucking drugs, bro. See, Jeff Hardy, you ruined yourself, bro.
They got him fired from the WWE.
And them drug addict, them perks.
Jeff Hardy even admits that he could have become one of the biggest superstars ever if he stayed sober. And honestly, I think he's right. He's one of the biggest what-ifs in WWE history, and I would compare him to Derrick Rose.
Hey, none of y'all ain't try to like help this nigga backstage. Like, tried to get this nigga rehab.
From the NBA, all the talent in the world with all the momentum as well, but it just got taken away too soon. Number 4, The Rock. The Rock is on this list with 2 very high peaks, and both of them were so massive that I could not just pick one, so I'm including both of them. The first one happened in 2000 with Stone Cold stepping away from the ring because of his injuries. Somebody had to take that top spot, and The Rock grabbed it without breaking a sweat because he was already on the rise. He won the Royal Rumble, he captured the belt multiple times, and became the face of WWE. This was the era where it genuinely looked like The Rock was going to be the guy for the next
fuck Rikishi, nigga started spazzing on the ground.
decade or two because he was the total package, but his peak was so high that Hollywood started calling, and he slowly left WWE
Yep, Hollywood got its ass.
to make box office movies. Now, his other peak was in 2024 when he did come back. Originally, it was supposed to be for the long-awaited feud between Roman and The Rock, but thankfully that did not happen because the Cody
Man,
Cry
that shit not, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
babies made enough noise to get the American Nightmare to finish his story. So instead, The Rock turned heel, became the final boss, and went on his best run ever. This man was saying whatever he wanted with zero filter, and everything he touched was gold. I remember glazing this run in real time, and people were telling me that it wasn't that good, but now those same people are saying that WWE hasn't been the same since he left. The final boss could have been the greatest character in wrestling history if he got to finish his story, but sadly, Hollywood came calling again, and we never got the proper conclusion to that amazing character
Man, what the
arc. It's wild that 2 times The Rock had an
that
unbelievable
was that what that movie was called? I forgot what that movie was called. It was a damn, wasn't that an MMA movie or something?
peak, and both times Hollywood pulled him away. That's the blessing and the curse of being Dwayne Johnson. Number 3, John Cena. You knew John Cena was going to be on this list. This man's nickname is literally the face of the franchise. He didn't just earn that name, he lived it every single week for an entire decade. John Cena carried the WWE on his back from 2005 all the way through 2015, and without him, I genuinely don't know if the company survives that era. He ascended to the top of the ladder faster than almost anyone, and he just stayed there. And when you look at what he accomplished, it's honestly ridiculous. 17 world titles, multiple Royal Rumble wins, Money in the Bank winner, mid-card championships, tag team belts, WrestleMania main events year after year. John Cena checked every single box there was to check and then created some new ones. The man did it all because he showed up every week for a decade straight and never took his foot off the gas. He was the backbone of the entire company, but similar to The Rock, his peak eventually did come to an end when Hollywood started giving him more and more roles, and we never really got to see those twilight years of his career play out the way they should have. He was too busy filming movies, and it's wild when you think about it. 2 of the biggest stars in WWE history both got pulled away by the same thing. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998 was absolutely untouchable. Whenever fans talk about how the Attitude Era
just said aura, bro.
was so great and it was the greatest era in wrestling history, we gotta be honest and admit that Stone Cold was the biggest reason it worked. You need to remember where
Just
WWE
look at that nigga walk.
he was before he took off. The company was slowly dying. WCW was handing them L after L in the ratings war every single week, and the fans were tired of the new generation era, and they wanted something different. They wanted some attitude, and then Austin arrived and changed everything. He became the most
That
popular
nigga killed that shit.
character in all of wrestling overnight, and it wasn't even a competition. This man was getting pops on a weekly basis that wrestlers today would kill to get just once in their entire career. His feud with Mr. McMahon was legendary. His feud with The Rock was some of the most fun wrestling has ever been, and on top of all that, he went on to win the WWE Championship many times while running through every legend they put in front of him. But here's the stat that really puts things into perspective. The Austin 316 shirt alone generated $500 million in merch sales. That
God damn.
tells you everything you need to know about how over this man was. Stone Cold's peak wasn't just special, it was the peak that saved the entire company. Without him, we would be watching Nitro instead of Monday Night Raw. Number 1, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan in the 80s deserves the number 1 spot on this list, and I don't want to hear any arguments.
Gang, fuck no. Man, fuck this nigga. Man, no.
Now I know this might
Gang, nigga, I wasn't born. Gang. I wasn't born in the fucking 70s, gang. I ain't watched this.
Shock a lot of people, but wrestling was at its most popular in the 70s and the 80s, and the biggest star of that era,
Nigga, that was my mom and my dad shit. They probably watched this. I ain't watched this, bro.
the guy who dominated everyone, was Hulk Hogan. He won almost every single match, and people do complain about that now, but back then, the fans wanted him to win. They needed him to win.
Man, fuck this racist nigga, like, for real.
know people love to say that he was overpushed, and yeah, I understand, but there's a reason Vince kept putting the belt on him. You gotta give the people what they want, and the people wanted Hulkamania. This peak was so massive that people literally refer to the entire decade as the Hogan era. They really named it after the man himself. And just when you thought it was over, just when people thought he was done, he completely reinvented himself. He turned heel, formed the NWO, and became the biggest villain in wrestling. It is wild that he went from the most loved babyface of all time to the most hated heel in the business, keeping himself relevant. Hulk Hogan managed to stay at the very top of the card for 2 straight decades. Nobody has ever done that. Nobody will ever do it again. And nobody will have a higher peak than Hogan in the 80s and the NWO days. That is why he's number 1. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed
Personally, I'm putting Jeff Hardy 2008 number 1 over all that. I ain't gonna lie. Make sure to comment, subscribe, and I'll do this. Nobody gonna fuck about no Hulk Hogan, nigga. Like,